Hello, my name is Rocco Salata,
And I'm Alexander Maravilla.
and this is Trending Now for Monday, August the 11th. Okay, we're at Indiegogo, we're looking at Indiegogo, the films that are trending now, the projects, the campaigns that are trending now. In the film section with the filter for Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up we're going to look at a campaign that's a documentary. It's called The Forgotten Salmon. And this has got the director and producer Galen Brown, editor Perry Walker, and production manager writer Sarah Daniels.
But more than 100 years ago, we lost them.
So The Forgotten Salmon is a documentary to bring back the Atlantic salmon in Lake Ontario and talk about how we lost them, the efforts are being put in motion to bring them back. And so the story is that there used to be a bunch of salmon in Lake Ontario, apparently so plentiful that you could like spear them with pitchforks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they were all gone by about 1898, and there were efforts back then to restore them. So the documentary is going to draw reflections of prominent historical figures and scientific archives, and interviews with conservationists and anglers, and it will animate the history of the salmon in Lake Ontario, as well as to explore the current efforts to restore them. So the guys, they take a look at a bunch of different experts, right? They talk to a guy who does DNA for the Royal Ontario Museum. I've seen one of his
Yeah, the
lectures.
wrong is definitely involved. Yeah.
And they look at conservationists, they look at fishermen, they look at like I think aboriginals and stuff like that, people in the culture, and they're trying to do like a well-rounded view of the entire story from the beginning that deals with the culture, with the science, with the ecology, with and what it means to really have the fish in the lake, in terms of nutrition, or of their impact on the environment, of their place within the ecosystem, and of course their impact on the economy.
And they're also bringing it into the classrooms. They're trying to get really interactive and have an educational tool as well. Involve the kids with like the breeding of eggs and stuff. So they found like, I think at the ROM, they found like the eggs or DNA from a salmon, from one of the original salmon, and they're trying to rework it. And they're doing stuff in classrooms now with children and having them like look at the different eggs and the first hatchlings and like really involve the kids because it's a long-term benefit. Yeah.
So they do is they took a sample from a stuffed fish from way back in the end of 19th century. They're using it to find the closest living relative to the salmon to try to introduce that species back in. So it'll be easy for them to adapt supposedly over time. They've been doing this for a while. And yeah, they seem to be pretty well organized, and they've got some efforts that have been going back in a while. For several years, and they're also working with people who have been doing this. There's been like a government program that's been trying to bring back the salmon for 8 years now, and it's having a lot of success. Like a bunch of the waterways of the tributaries of the lake have recovered quite well, and they've been releasing salmon, and now they're starting to reproduce and repopulate the rivers. And the fishermen have come in contact with them already.
Yeah, and they say even though it's called the Atlantic salmon, it's like in the Lake Ontario. And Lake Ontario, just because it's Lake Ontario, the waters have changed over time.
Yeah.
So they want to try to adapt it or make it so that in the new Lake Ontario with the waters.
Yeah.
And I think there was even a point they said something about these fish are sort of like the canaries in mines or something.
Well, salmon are very fragile.
Yeah.
So they die very easily, and the problem is also they come back to the exact same river they were spawned in.
Yeah.
So if there's any change in the environment that was there before, it could kill the eggs. So the population declines really quickly.
Yeah.
So if your system is healthy enough to contain salmon, then you're doing pretty well.
Okay.
So that's usually the first species that goes.
Cool. And this team has got Galen as the director, Galen Brown. He says he's like an emerging documentary filmmaker, and he's a photographer here in Toronto.
Yeah.
So he's doing other stuff. He cares. He's local, based in Toronto, so he cares about the ecology, and he's doing photography. Also, he won like the best first-time filmmaker award at the Yosemite Film Festival in 2013 for his environmental documentary, and that one was called
Amunegu.
Amunegu, yeah.
So Amunyego's last movie is also about declining fish stock. This was in Belize, and it was called Amoniago in Times to Come, and he does the same thing where he gets really involved with the culture, and he talks a lot with the local fishermen, with the people who are in there, and with just like locals, and tries to get a feel of the culture and involve the people, and even the way he edits and scores the movie is very reminiscent of it's got that nice Caribbean vibe, so it feels like you're in Belize just from watching the film. And it's in Belize they had problems with a real estate boom, so people are coming in, and that's affected the environment where the fish were in. And they also had the same thing where at some point the fish were so plentiful you could just like bucket them out of the ocean, but now you can't get any. So it's a very similar process, and you can tell that he's one of those filmmakers that gets as involved as possible, which is really good for a documentary. It really affects the finished product. You can actually rent the movie, like an online version of the movie, his last movie for $4, and you can see some of the work they've done. And already from the campaign, you can see they've got some very usable footage.
Yes.
And they've got a lot of interesting and important people involved. So they're really headed in the right direction. And the fact that there's a big effort involving a lot of people to make this happen already is pretty good, because they're just coming in and documenting it.
Yeah, there was a documentary stamp on it, like documentaries, like it's got the ROM, but like documentary, the seal of approval or something, Doc Ontario or something.
Yeah.
There was like some documentaries right across so that's pretty impressive. They got the and then also because he cared so much, in 2012 it says he started a production company called 3004 Studios.
Yeah.
And I guess so that he can have his own equipment and everything in place to further his cause.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
And and then for this campaign, they have some perks that if you give some enough, they'll give you a professional photo print of a wild Atlantic salmon. That's like one prize, one perk, and then they'll also give you an early screening so that you can give the director feedback. So before they goes public, they'll invite you in and let you give him some feedback on how he's doing and what you think. And then I'm not sure what this is, but they're also offering a handmade Lake Ontario fly.
Yeah.
So
it's a fly for fly fishing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So $25 is what you need to donate in order to get a chance to watch the finished film, and that'll be to digital download or rent, like a one-time rental online. So, yeah.
Okay.
So next up is your second 50. This is by Frank Moffat and directed by Lauren Goldstein. So this movie is it's like an inspirational film, right? And it's based on a novel or a book. So it says here, source of inspiration, and it talks about and tools to break down limiting beliefs. They're stopping you subconsciously, of course, from being all you can be. And they're saying they're going to give you the keys to follow and help you follow them along the way and improve your life, and tell you how to start a new career, decide to begin a new relationship, decide to get fit like never before, do something big essentially. And the whole point of it is to help you basically age well.
Yeah, bring awareness to the generation. Because older people, so bring awareness to you, and especially the people who are over 50.
That's what the title means.
Yeah.
So 3 years after you turn 50.
Yeah. So that life doesn't end at 50. It just starts anew. Or if you live well, or actually, like you said, gives you tools and stuff to do, and philosophies and things to do that once you are 50 to stay fit or get fit, or just continue moving on. And like I said, it's all about the aging process too. They wants to impose on you, not impose, but let you know that aging, like I said, his big mantra is aging as we have come to know it is about to change. That's his change for people who have the old way of thinking.
It's very salesmanship type language.
Yes.
If you pay attention to the way the campaign progresses as you read it, he first starts trying to sell it to you, and he's got 2 videos, and the first one you see is him speaking to the camera about the campaign and trying to sell you on the campaign. So what he does is he tries to sell you the campaign before he even tells you what the movie is.
Yeah, he was disappointed at the first batch of results.
Yeah.
He's like saying, oh, people didn't, people say they don't invest, that people say that people over 50 don't invest.
Yeah.
And he's like saying, oh, everybody can just give $5. Like if you give $5 or tell your friend to give $5, or anybody can give $5, especially people over 50 give $5, and just pushing is like, so it kind of felt odd.
Yeah, well, he also doesn't tell you what you're giving $5 for.
No.
He doesn't say why it's $5 specifically until later.
Yeah.
So, so that was a bit of a red flag for me because I had no idea what he was doing. But once you actually start looking into it, it seems really interesting. It is very inspirational.
Yes.
It does, like the movie itself seems very simplistic. Like they say, oh, it's well, all you do have is think well, have good thoughts, and your life will be better. And then it seems like it was a little simplified, shallow, and there wasn't anything there. But if you start looking at it, there's more, and especially the book. The book concentrates on a bunch of different aspects of aging, including the physical part, which is an important part, but financial and mental issues as well.
It talks about neuroplasticity and how the brain keeps changing.
It doesn't just talk about balance, about wellness and a spiritual and emotional connection, which is the only thing that the campaign talks about. The book is a more rounded part, but the book is also as part of the release of the book and the release of the community of the movie, he's created an entire community that works around this concept.
Yes.
And it deals with being fit, with knowing the science behind aging, with everything. It seems much more involved and much more concrete than you can tell from the campaign.
Yeah, all living happier and healthier lives.
Yes.
That's the thing I liked about it with the video. Like so the first one I didn't like. It was like a sales pitch. I didn't know what to make. But the second video, which actually shows different interviews with people, doctors and stuff, but then a lot of real people, it was kind of like unforced testimonials about like people over 50, and then a whole, like the campaign itself, it's got tons of pictures, a whole list of pictures of all these people who were interviewed at the age of 50 and how they're doing, how times have changed and how they're benefiting. They're 50 and still young and vibrant and going along with the philosophies. Yeah,
and like you said, unforced is a good way to make it. All the interviews seem very natural, very well put together, and like the pictures are kind of cheesy. They're your standard marketing tool, but the footage itself is pretty good. What the people say is pretty good, and the more you seem to look into it, the more it seems like there's a real concrete idea in it, and the more impressed you are by it, because there's a bunch of people who work together in the community to not only inspire each other, help each other set goals, but to actually collaborate to get activities done. So you join the community, not only are you going to find tools to help better yourself to get control of your life, but you also find people to go out on activities with and people to stay active with, forge new relationships, and make friends essentially. But then it gets even better, and eventually he tells you that the movie has actually already been financed. As you can tell from the video, he's already shot most of it.
Yes. So
the movie's actually already paid for, and what the campaign is to help him pay back the loans that he's taken out to finish the movie.
Yes, so say he financed it. So I think, like you said, he took out one big loan, and then he just kind of like consolidated everything into like one big loan, got it shot, got it made, and he wants to pay that off. Doesn't want to hang it out over his head like a student loan.
And he had enough of his own capital to levy the loan, of course.
Yeah, from the book.
And then he finally gets to the $5, which is if you donate $5, you get a free copy of the movie.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good deal. That's less than a third of the price of the actual book.
Right.
And it's such a small donation. And considering how good the project is, I mean, if you look at the novel, if you looked at the community, not the novel, but the book, and you take the whole thing together, $5 seems like a fair price to pay just to watch this movie. It would be cheaper to do it this way than it would be to watch it in theaters, for instance. Sure. And since the book is out, you can probably get it from a library or something and check it out to see if you're interested. But despite all the stereotypical, very direct and obvious salesmanship techniques, it all seems like there's actually some real content here, and
it's a positive message. So that's good. So if you are over 50 or if you're getting close to 50, there's hope, and there's like a good message.
But it also doesn't limit you by the age, right? That's the selling point. But it seems like they've got some stuff in there that'll help you at any.
Right, it's your second 50, so it's like actually like 50 to 100 or 51 to 100.
Yeah, there were people in their 40s who were interviewed there too.
Sure.
So I mean, they got something out of it. So I think anyone might be able to get something out of it. You have to check it out.
Yeah, it's good life improvement.
Yeah.
And then you said some of the perks he's given away then, like you can be the first to see the doc, you can get a signed copy of your second 50, the book. So
Yeah, that's like $30, I think, or $25, and then you get the movie as well. So you get the movie and post the book.
Yeah, there's a collector's t-shirts he's got, and then a series of dinners associated to the premiere.
Yeah.
So you can like have dinner with him and the director Laurent Goldstein, so the writer Frank Moffat, the producer. Then you can sit at their table for the premiere and get like access to that. Plus, they also have a soundtrack. So they've got a person included there. So there's like producers, writers, directors. So Frank Moffat, the guy who wrote the book, is working with director Laurent Goldstein, and then they've got the whole rest of the key crew that you can have, key filmmakers you can have be seated with at their special table for the premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So up next, we've got a campaign that's called Save Black Dog Video. It's not our usual type of thing we review or discuss, but it's a pretty interesting one here because it's a video store that is in Vancouver, and they've already, with the changing times, had like to shut down a lot of their other stores in other territories. And
this is the last one.
yeah, so like they've already had troubles. Well, Black Dog Video says they have been curating and providing Vancouverites with an amazing area of films for over 18 years. They source out the rare, fantastic, and amazing films that make up such a rich fabric of the cinematic experience. So they say when you dig a little deeper, you can find gems, and these gems are films that will stay with you for the rest of your life. So they're putting a premium on the ability to recommend films and to the experience of coming into a store, getting recommendations, browsing through shelves, that personalized feel of not the middleman, the home market, the small store versus the big competitors like the Walmarts and stuff that come in.
Yeah. So basically, the entire catalog of Black Dog Video has been curated by the staff who are experts in movies. So I mean, they know what they're talking about. There's a whole theme to it. It's a really good idea because you have a bunch of experts who come in. You can talk to them about movies, and they can help you learn more and find movies that you wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. And they've got a bunch of movies that aren't available anywhere else. That aren't available outside of tapes or DVDs or whatever format it is that they may have them in. And so putting them online or streaming them is not an option.
Yeah.
So going here will expose you to new films that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, and they said that's a big thing for them is to have customers come in and then follow their recommendations.
Yeah.
Because like different people who work at the store will recommend a film, and then if you like start to like any one of these guys' recommendations, not only do they find like films that you not find other places, but they're like picks, they're like employee picks and stuff. So you can start to also talk to the same people who recommended it, find out new recommendations, and like I said, a personalization of the experience. You know, it's part of that nostalgia too. And I said when I was younger, I worked in a record store back in high school. And that was part of the things we did is we talk like clerks and stuff. We would recommend films, and so that experience was pretty cool. I mean, it was a while ago, and this might be a sign of the times, but that's what they're saying. They said that they lost their Toronto stores, a couple of years ago due to massive rent increases, and that was a big loss for many local people here.
Yeah.
And they said the Toronto stores are closed and gone forever.
Yeah.
And they feel it's a shame that to see this happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want this to happen in Vancouver. But I don't know. You were saying something about about the store, about other things that they can do other than just ask for money.
Yeah. So basically, video stores are dying. I mean, it's been happening for a while. Like massive chains can't keep going anymore. It's just not they're not going to survive for very long. They need to get creative about what they do. And this raising money on Indiegogo it's a good idea, but it's a short-term solution, or maybe a mid-term at best. They need to come up with other things. There are video stores here that have been surviving by doing different things, like getting communities involved, starting film communities, doing screenings, doing events. The Film Buff is a good one. That's a cafe now, but it's still a video store. It's still got the same element, because there's a cafe. You have places where people can congregate and people can chat. It sets up a social space within the store.
Yeah, the social interaction.
Yeah, exactly. So they can build a community around the film and just start watching movies together, which gets some extra business for the store and allows them to keep the store open. So if they were to do something like that, come up with an alternative way of generating income in order to replace all the income they've lost, that will help them pay for the store to keep it going. I mean, you could do a lot of things online too. They've already started doing a few things where they do reviews and stuff on their website, but they can maybe do some sort of streaming service or something online or whatever. Maybe they could start getting involved with transferring some of the rare movies that they have onto digital formats to get them out there.
To not just have an employee pick out a DVD or whatever format they're using these days, Blu-rays or whatever. Especially, there could be stuff that's only available, like they may have found these old library of VHS stuff. And you're right, they could digitize it, get it on that, and maybe put that on more accessible media. That would be a good thing. And then if they had to pick, they could not only pick something, but offer it to them up in a format that they could if not come in and talk about stream or put it on if it is a VHS, put it on a DVD for them. Or if it's that is rare. Those are rare. There's a lot of the old horror movies from the 80s and a lot of underground classics. They mentioned that if it weren't for stores like this, there's a lot of titles that would have been looked over. And they think, you could still have the space open, invite people in, have a screening, maybe say offer up maybe put in a cafe or put in some other thing, but a social aspect, and then be able to do this on top of it. So
and you get more customers as an added benefit.
Right.
So then the income from the actual store itself should rise as well.
So they said they've gone through all kinds of hardships, and they've had all kinds of crazy stuff. Devastating fire, construction of the subway for the Olympics. They were robbed a couple times, rocks thrown through the windows, hands. All these different things that were going on, and then that plus the industry change over the past several years. They mentioned specifically they feeling the squeeze from Netflix and the downloadings and video on demand and. So they know, they're aware of what's happening.
But they're definitely very passionate. They're trying to build a community. Even all the perks on the campaign have to do with that. They're all centered around the store itself. And if you live in Vancouver, you get some good play out of it. You get longer rentals, you get free rentals, stuff like that.
Free
if you
rentals.
donate enough, they might mail you DVD copies of stuff.
They're also doing which I guess is an added bonus, free T-shirts. So if you give enough, something like that, which apparently because this was kind of a cool store. At different times when they had more stores or when the good old days of the stores were out, their T-shirts got popular. So they have these T-shirts that might be a collector's item or of interest to people. So they're willing to give away some of those, and basically right now their goal is to raise $20,000 by August 31st, and to try to keep the store open as is. But like you said, if they maybe it's time for them to make some adjustments and
get creative about
evolve,
money,
do some evolution, keep the stores, keep the things,
adapt to the marketplace.
Keep all the elements that they love and want to preserve, and then evolve and adapt to the current situation. Well, good luck to them, and if you're in Vancouver, go check them out.
Good one. So next up, we've got Why We Play. This is a documentary that's being produced and directed by Andrew George, and it's basically about he's following a bunch of different people in the big touch football league in Canada, which is a really big touch football league.
Canada-wide.
And he's following a bunch of different individuals, not like the obvious athletes that you know are part of the league, but all the people around the fringes, you know, like people in their 70s, people who've just started playing football.
Yeah, not the usual
like that.
suspects. He
Pretty
wants to
much.
branch out because it's like anybody you would think would play football, ex-football players, ex-tackle, so not just your regular players, but in order to put this project together and for this documentary to make it different,
Yeah.
he wants to show how well women are doing.
Yeah.
So he picked like 3 groups specifically, like women, to show how they compete and how they're playing at the same levels, if not surpassing a lot of the male athletes. So he went with women, he went with the age.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, people I sit up until like, he even said like people 60, 70,
Yeah.
like,
There's a 76-year-old guy that plays on a team with 20-year-olds. Yeah.
yeah, and not just play, but play well.
Yeah.
And they compete nationwide. And so the third group was newbies.
Yeah.
So you like, yeah, the women, women, age, and the newbies.
Yeah.
So like, I'm supposing he probably played as well, and this is something as like he probably played and said, wow, this would be interesting. So it's like an insider point of view,
Yeah.
I guess like which might add something to it, being this like pit football and touch football, like maybe like a skater would give insight to skating video.
Yeah.
This director, producer, he's a pit player, so he would give like his own insight, so
Yeah.
things that the average person wouldn't do.
Yeah, and the documentary is focused on basically the reasons why the people are playing and the interactions in between them and their life and their experience they're going through it. And I mean, it's fairly interesting look inside the league. It looks pretty interesting. There's a huge variety of characters, which is good, and different viewpoints that they could take.
Yeah.
He's trying to tell multiple stories in one film, and he's going to scale the number of stories according to the amount of funding he gets. So for now, he's got 4 subjects that he wants to follow. He's got his own equipment, he's got his own editing suite, and he's got some of his own funding that will allow him to complete the project.
Yeah,
So
he's a filmmaker and a blogger.
Yeah.
And so he's got like his demo reel as part of this campaign, but he invites people, if you want to get to know him better, to look at his website, which is like the AndrewJoeGeorge.com.
Yeah.
So you can take a closer look at some of the other stuff he's done.
Yeah.
I think when I looked at his regular pitch for this, automatic goes on Vimeo.
Yeah.
It invited him to look at these 2 shorts that he made.
Yeah.
So he actually has like other productions as well.
Yeah.
So even though this is a documentary, he has a couple other shorts
Yeah,
that
he does a lot of professional work too, and you can tell from his demo reel that he knows his equipment very well.
Yeah.
He's a really good cinematographer. He knows how to direct. He knows how to apply the style to the different subjects, and he knows how to take unusual subjects and put them on film. And for example, he does demo reels for painters,
Okay.
which is not something you'd expect. It doesn't seem to make much sense, but he does it really well. Actually, he manages to capture the essence of like a static medium onto film, onto motion picture, and to capture the process of the artist and the kind of like the point of their painting, like the idea behind their work.
Okay.
And the personality of it, and it was surprisingly good. He's got some good stuff, and it looks like for now he's got enough resources to actually get this done, like a bare bones version of this documentary done on his own.
Yeah.
So the money he's getting is basically to help him improve it as much as
Yeah,
possible.
I think it's to bring awareness to like he likes this and he wants other people to know about this
Yeah.
thing as well. He wants to share
Yeah.
his love for the sport. And, the other thing is too, he's doing an interesting type of campaign that's called a fixed money campaign, which means that he's put different sets of money in. And like you said, it's kind of as a fixed campaign. If he doesn't reach certain goals,
If he doesn't reach the goal of the campaign,
Yeah.
you don't get charged. Essentially, you make a donation via credit card, but your card doesn't get charged unless he gets enough donations to get the full amount.
yeah, and he's inviting.
So it's all or nothing.
Yeah, and he's inviting teams. Like his thing is he wants a full team to like involve to donate,
Yeah.
so that it's sort of like I guess it fits into the perks category. But what he's saying is like if you have a team and you're an interesting pit team and you want to like get more publicity or information or press for your team can make a team donation and he'll include your team in the documentary.
Yeah.
So he'll give you like I guess which would be like a perk.
Yeah, the league is getting involved in too, where they'll give away free registrations if you donate the equivalent amount. So if you're interested in joining the league, instead of paying $50 to join it, give the $50 to the filmmaker and they'll give you the registration for free.
Well, that's
so
excellent.
that you get the registration and the filmmaker gets the money. The thing with a project like this is because it follows people, you have no idea what it's going to be like. Some of the footage he has are some interviews and some ideas of what he's going to shoot and something to do with the style, but this is relying entirely on things that will happen in the future.
Yeah.
And the content of the film rely entirely on what will happen while they're going about it, right? So there's no telling what the finished product is going to look like.
No.
But it seems like an interesting idea. And the teams themselves are pretty interesting. They're all varied. There's no like set rules, the limiting age or gender or anything. So you've got, you can have some interesting things where you've got like older people who are to take care of the strategy in the team.
Yeah.
And football is basically a strategy game being played as the pieces as opposed to the player, right?
Yeah.
So then knowing the game really helps a lot. So these guys have a lot of experience. They can shape the team, and then you got younger people doing the hard work. And you also see strange things where you see like male teams against female teams, and you see co-ed teams playing with each other,
Yeah.
or like different stuff like that. So it seems like every single team is completely different.
Yeah.
Every game is completely different. You never know what you're going to expect, and there's a lot of adaptability and a lot of stories that can arise out of it. So,
Yeah, and he also invites anybody who's looking through the website to look at the rules video. There's like a YouTube video that explains like basically like from the creator of the pit
Yeah.
organization. There's a YouTube video that explains it more or less.
Yeah.
So once you know the basics of the game, then basically he'll bring it to life
Yeah.
by going and asking particular players. So probably a lot of the B-roll will be just like the different games and more the general stuff.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the main material will probably be like his discussions with people, like maybe specific interviews with the people from the different age group, the older people, women or newbies, ask a specific subject and then show a lot of the B-rolls and a lot of them playing or the teams or fill it in. So it'll be part instructional a little bit, like to at least inform people, but really personalized. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, if you do donate, another perk that he's offering is access to behind-the-scenes discussions. So when he shoots the stuff, when he's editing it, then he's gonna they're gonna have panels and talk about stuff, and then so you're gonna probably be invited to different talks that they have during the shoot and probably after.
Yeah. The thing is, you'll have to shell out $50 to watch the movie. And one of the perks is if you spend $50, you'll get a free registration.
Yeah.
You actually have to pick one of those, so you can't have both. You can't have both the movie and the free registration. You have to pick one. But,
Right. And if it's the team, obviously, it's probably free registration, free not for everybody on the team, or is it? Does it make sense?
I think for the donor.
For the donor.
Yes.
So like one person. So if you are a team, one person gets free, or.
I'm not sure if you all need to be registered, or if you register as a team, or if you do both.
But you'll get a discount in any case. There is a benefit.
Yeah. In either case, some of the perks will benefit you if you're actually looking to join the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for now, though. This is our 4th episode. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Tell us if you have any feedback or any suggestions of what we should do next or where we should go with this. But thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm Rocco Salata.
I'm Alexander Maravilla.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see.